Welcome to Diversity Conversations, where we engage in thought-provoking dialogue to identify leadership solutions to today's most challenging conflicts. Stream live each week, Saturday 9:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. Hosted by Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Strategist and CEOs Eric Ellis and Tommie Lewis. Join us and add your voice to this engaging diversity conversation.
Good morning, Greater Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky, the United States, and the world. My name is Eric Ellis, and I'm the President and CEO of Integrity Development Corporation. And I'm joined this morning by my good friend and brother,
Tommie Lewis, President and CEO of Make It Plain Consulting. Good morning, Eric.
Yes, sir. T, what's up, baby? What up?
Hey, it's another Saturday morning, beautiful Saturday morning.
Absolutely.
And it may be a Friday in some places
Right.
in the world, may be a Sunday.
Right.
But we are very gracious and grateful to have you all join us for another installment of Diversity Conversations. It's beautiful.
Absolutely. And we've got an amazing show for you today, a topic that Tommie has brought to us, introduced to us. I think it's powerful for this time and this moment. But before we do that, we're going to talk about sort of critical conversations that we've had in the last week. And I'll tell you, Tommie, I was just mentioning to you that I had a chance to do a keynote address at Erie Insurance Company in Erie, Pennsylvania. And so I went there, man, and I just had an amazing time. They're an amazing company. I mean, the event that I was the keynote speaker at was just powerful, Tommie. In general, I mean, the entire event was powerful. They had a new auditorium that they were christening. What's the word? Christening. Thank you. Christening. Mm-hmm. And so I'm the inaugural speaker in that. We went out to dinner the night before, Tommie, and I met my friend and her team. They were just awesome individuals, and we had a dinner. And they, whenever you have dinner, people want to talk to this, this keynote speaker, and they want to know about their lives, and you almost have to, entertain them almost a little bit the night before. But one of the senior vice presidents said, "Hey, Eric, I think it'd be helpful if you meet all the team too." And so he had people introduce themselves. Man, I took out my phone. I just started taking notes because I love to learn about people and to know who they are. And so we had an amazing night. But Tommie, the last thing that the chief DEI officer said to me before I left that evening was, "Eric, this is it's an important event. A lot of people are nervous about it because, so much has been done around DEI. So it's almost like there was a chance we might not even do this." She says, "But when I thought about, if I have to almost put my career on the line, if I had to put place a bet on one person," I said, "that one person is Eric Ellis." Wow. And so, Tommie, I took that and I said, "Thank you." But man, I started sweating bullets. I mean, it was just like, wow, that's a lot of pressure. And so I went home that evening, looked over my talk. But the next morning when I got up, Tommie, I got up and I looked over my speech again and I said, "This thing is horrible." And it was almost like the enemy just started attacking me, that this is horrible and these people are paying you money and this is not, look at all this, just data. And I got nervous and I was wondering, man, where's the beef in this thing? Where's the heart, if you will?
Yes.
But Tommie, I said this to you that, and community, I'll say this to you, that a lot of times we want to have all the answers. But the most powerful part that I would be giving to them in that keynote address couldn't actually be contained on slides and a piece of paper. The most powerful thing that I had to deliver is the message that God is putting inside of me. And so it makes us nervous, Tommie, that you have to wait on, in the church, we would say the anointing, but almost wait for the message that you're going to deliver to people, man. But I was just grateful that it was powerfully received. I turned into somebody that I wasn't even familiar with when I got there, but I was grateful for that. And I'll say more about the people that I met. I'll just share one quick story about one of the gentlemen, a senior vice president, joined us for dinner, white male, and he was just moved by me, and he was looking, forward to the speech the next day. But they they gave an award. There was a young Black executive that he had brought into the company years ago. He had helped him move through the ranks within the company. This young brother eventually ended up becoming a vice president with a high school degree. Now, he
Wow.
eventually got his degree from Akron University, but he got almost a vice president because of his talent. And I was just listening to this man talk about this young African American executive that died suddenly. He died at the age of 40. And so this gentleman had put together an award in honor of him.
Yeah.
And so when he started describing the leadership award that they were going to be giving out, Tommie, he was just, he couldn't even get through it because he was so overwhelmed and broken by his friend who is no longer here. He showed pictures of him and his family and talked about him. And so, the person that was announcing the award had him stand up, and since he's such a good introducer of awards, the guy says, "Okay, when I do it like you do it, show your approval on your face." And so he was making all his face like, "Okay, that's me. That's not me.
Yeah.
That's me." But he didn't know that all of that was a setup,
Mm.
and that the company was going to be awarding him the first inaugural Fred Johnson Leadership Award.
Wow.
And if you could have seen it, Tommie, the expression on his face that turned from laughter and joy to just complete tears, man. He turned around, he just couldn't even look at the audience because he was so broken that he would be the first recipient of an award that he put together for his good friend.
Eric, that's a powerful, powerful story. And I heard humility.
Yeah.
I heard joy.
Yeah.
I heard, mockery is the best compliment
Mhm.
to someone.
Right,
So
right.
I heard that in
Right.
jest,
Yeah.
positive
Yeah.
jest.
Yeah.
And then I heard some level of excellence
Yeah.
and the anticipation and or the expectation of excellence.
Right.
Right. The inaugural event, the christening of
Mhm.
the venue, which takes some time. Venues just don't pop up. It
Right.
takes a lot of hard work with people doing the right thing to build these things
Right.
with the heart in mind.
Right. I'll say one more thing, Tommie. Community, a lot of people look at Tommie and I, we speak all the time. And I think that they maybe assume that we are always comfortable, that we're always confident, that we expect that we're going to somehow knock the ball out the park. But that's not how we feel. Sometimes we get nervous and scared like anybody else. And Tommie, for the first time, we've heard people talk about imposter syndrome. And usually when we talk about that, we think about women. But all those thoughts were going through my mind, man. Am I worth what they're paying me? And this just doesn't. And what I'm grateful for is that our faith in God is what carries us through.
Yes, sir.
I know that I was born. The purpose that I have on earth is to reconcile people. And that's easier to say than it is to feel responsible for doing. And so you never want to lose anybody. So I was just grateful that God was with me. And I was glad when the last word was spoken and I could take my seat.
Yes, grab the seat. Eric, appreciate you sharing that. I think that our weeks really were parallel without one another knowing
Right.
of each other's weeks.
Right.
As you were away this week working with a client out of state, I was as well. So I was in Virginia working with an organization that I've been working with for about 6 years, InCircle. InCircle is a phenomenal organization that has wraparound services for our citizens with developmental disabilities. And so helping them become included in society, as well as increasing that true sense of belonging. The people that do the work, from administrative to direct support staff, they're very special people, right? Very, very special people. And I know this. I've been working with them for, again, half a dozen years. And I was invited to facilitate a 2-day event. One day, the main event was their managers meeting, which they call their leadership summit,
Mm-hmm.
right? The day before, they decided to implement a leadership or a leaders summit,
Okay.
if you will. So I know it's the same words,
Yeah,
but
it's kind of smaller group.
smaller group. And then following the first day, which was the leaders summit, there was a dinner as well.
Okay.
And so I too was, trying to put together a program,
Mm-hmm.
an interactive program the content would be receivable,
Right.
the lessons would be learned,
Mm-hmm.
the tasks and or activities can be implementable.
Mm-hmm.
So not just going through the motions,
Right.
but here's an activity that I'm developing a skill set or a competency that I can apply.
Right.
And in the preparation, Eric, as well as throughout the course of the day, um, the energy and the spirit kept speaking to me.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in some instances, Eric, there was a gentleman or two, maybe three,
Mm-hmm.
that I don't know how negative their nonverbals were. I don't know if they knew
Right.
how
Right.
negative their nonverbals
Right.
were.
Right.
Right.
Like, I don't want to be it.
At all.
Right.
Right. And wanted to push that negative energy on me.
Right. Okay.
It was creating a bit of a storm.
Right.
Like, because everybody else, in my opinion, energy wise, was having fun.
Yeah.
So I did something that I typically don't do, Eric. I called it out.
Okay. Oh. Okay.
Yeah, I called it out.
Yeah.
And I called it out such that I gave the example of how my mother used to tell me, don't have all that thinking, right? That funky attitude. And if you are a leader and you bring that funky attitude into the environment, then your followers, i.e. your staff, will have a funky attitude, that stinking thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I would charge any of you, if you are positive in this storm of life,
right.
storm in society, storms at work, if you're positive, share that positivity.
Okay.
And have the courage when you're engaging with someone whose energy is negative,
right.
whose speech is negative, and now you know their mindset is negative, to approach them, to share with them how they are landing on you and or the environment. Have the courage to stand up on a principle,
right.
a value.
Right.
And the theme of the summit was, right, going forward with our guiding principles.
Okay.
So as I'm talking and giving this out, none of this is scripted. It's in my mind, it's in my heart.
Right.
But from a professional perspective, Eric, we know how to tie things back in.
Right.
So I did tie it back into guiding principles. And I saw this gentleman who was maybe 20 feet in front of me.
Right.
Right. I saw him with that scowl on his face.
Right.
With those daggers in his eyes.
Yeah.
That he thought he was going to deliver this message. He's going to get me. I know that my God, as I called upon him in my soliloquy, my God came in to soften his heart. Here's how I know. Because I then transitioned from my opening lecturette into an activity.
Right.
Now, mindful that I had been talking for maybe 4 minutes. And then there was a little piece, maybe 2 minutes. So we were actually together for about 6 to 8 minutes before we go into that first exercise.
Right.
And I had already assessed him. I knew what his game was.
Right.
So when we went into the first exercise, he was more relaxed with folks. Right. And so unpacking that situation, your situation, my situation at home and life at work as well, in my prayer and meditation, thank you, Lydia, our producer, for reminding me of the value and the importance of meditation that he placed upon me this theme of the calm within the storm, right? The calm within the storm. And so I think that's what we'll talk about today.
Right.
We'd like to invite our community, as always, to continue to like and subscribe, to be made aware of when we're live and in living color, to follow us afterwards, to share with your friends, because even if the message in our conversation doesn't value today, it may value someone else today or tomorrow. So pay it forward. And so that's what we'll talk about.
Right. So let me say this. I'm going to come back to Tommie's comments and say that part of getting older, I saw this with my grandmother and my great grandmother. Part of what happens when you get older, you get more powerful, more to be straightforward.
Come on now.
And to call it out. I mean, you ain't scared now no more. You're like, no, I've been on earth long enough. When I see stinking thinking, guess what? I'm not. Look, you trying to give me the evil eye? Yeah. That don't work on me.
Not at all.
And you just now, what they would say if it was a commercial on TV, they would say, "Don't try this at home."
Yeah.
Because I would say, if you ain't got what Tommie Lewis had then, don't just try this. Because these things can blow up and go awry, and this is your client. But you were empowered by the God within you, by the love that you had for the person with the scowl.
Come on, Eric.
It wasn't out of hatred that you was going to get them together. It was out of love, and you were saying, don't waste any moment in that space. Now, when Tommie, one of our communities says, most of the time people are not conscious about what they are projecting, their state of being. And what we're trying to do is be the change that we want to see in others. Before we go into our topic that Tommie has brought to us today, I'm going to open up with a music video. One of the things that I've said is that I've got a recording studio. Most of you may know that. I've written over 300 songs. Whenever the world goes crazy, as it's been doing regularly here daily, then I'll write a song. And so I wrote this song, Let Love Heal. And then I went to YouTube and picked out a lot of pictures. And so as we talk about a calm within the storm, then we're going to start with this music video that says Let Love Heal. Lydia?
Oh, why do we take sides? We don't believe. Do they really care about our name? We can find a way from these ashes to rain. When we let our love shine, we'll survive. We're united by the things we love. Believe there's a power above. The struggles are real. You got to fight. Let love in. Let love in. Fight to set people free. People free. Now fight for you. Free. Fight for me. Let's get real. Let love in. We take time. Live in pain. Selfish ways we push won't last, don't last. In the people we must see, the scars that are concealed. Once they're revealed, let love heal, let love heal. United by the things we love, believe there's a power above. The struggles are real. You got to fight. Let love heal. Let love be. Let's fight to set people free. People free. Fight for you. See them free. Fight for me. Let's get real. Let love heal. like a drink of water when I'm thirsty. Water brings life, brings us life. Let it flow inside us. Let love fill. No easy answer. I'm right in the way. Let love. I love him. I love him. We haven't spoken for years and years. Let love feel. Let love feel. Let love heal. Let love feel. Love is the ingredient we all need.
Yeah, that's beautiful, Eric.
Well, thank you. So, music is one of my love languages. I developed a recording studio in 2015 because a young girl in Westchester got stabbed to death trying to stop a fight. So they asked me to come to the high school and speak to the young people about making good choices, Tommie. And I felt then, as though I feel at times now that the music is killing young people, and so I wanted to sort of create some positive music. So that's when I started that, and all my children have now become artists, recording artists, they're singer songwriters, and the like. So let's pull up those slides, Lydia. And Tommie, you want to say anything else again about this as we, and for those of you, you can take a picture of this, and that link is where that music video is, and you can hear it.
Again, I think that the song that you wrote and performed, Eric, is spot on, is apropos for the topic for today. I think that we're in a number of storms. Some of them are self-induced, Eric, and I'm going to speak for myself. I have simply decided that I don't want certain energy in me. Not even if I want to find out what's happening, right? I don't. I'm talking about personally.
Right.
There's people that's going through certain things that I may have, been there to listen and try to listen for a moment, but I wasn't being shared the real storm.
Right.
I was just shared the winds,
right,
and the damage from the winds, but not the storm.
Right.
And so when I am being shared the winds and the damage, I want to be a part of that calm. And when and maybe for others, I wasn't the calm. Like, okay, this is a storm that you have to find peace in yourself. So the finding balance, finding peace, finding safety, both physical and psychological, emotional and spiritual safety. It is a journey that we don't have to do it alone, but we have to find calm, right? We have to find calm because otherwise the storms that come from the outside that we internalize inside will then play itself out externally. We will actually be living in the storm that we have created. Right. Or promoted.
That's right.
One or the other.
That's right. And Tommie, I'll tell you, this is so powerful and it's so appropriate for what's happening in my life right now. And what I would say to you, community, is that Tommie says the calm within the storm. I'm going through some storms right now. And the first reaction sometimes when a storm comes is to ratchet your energy up to the level of the storm. But that would be a mistake. It just means that we're going to stay in here that much longer. And so when I see a storm raging, whether it's one that's of my own making or whether it's one that has just decided to come my way, I have a choice about how I'm going to respond. Back to the R factor. Events occur, but what is your response? And your response is going to determine in many ways the outcome. Yeah. And so right now, what I've decided is that the storm that I'm going through doesn't need me to rage any further. It actually needs me to ratchet everything down and say, We're in a storm, y'all, but we're going to be all right. I told you all a few weeks ago about the golf course man that came pounding out to me to say, do you have a tee time? I said, no. He said, well, you need to get it. I said, I'm a member. Same guy, Tommie. He came to me yesterday. He didn't know it was me, but he was watching out from the clubhouse. And so here he comes down with a cart this time. And the closer he got, he said, Tommie, he's calling me you.
Oh, yeah.
You know, he finally got your name spelled.
Right.
Yeah. And I turned around. No, it's me. Oh, we thought somebody else was down there. You know, a lot of people just come here and just, why are you always down here on somebody with brown skin? But that was a storm that drove down with a golf cart, but it didn't need me to ratchet up to that level. And I'm telling you, community, too often when things happen to us, especially if they have a diversity overtone to them, we will allow those things to drive us to a maddening kind of response because of the bias, the prejudgment that people are making. We take and own that and respond at the level of, you got me wrong. Right. Well, I actually don't have to. I'm here. I'm the same person I was before you came marching or driving down here.
Right.
I don't have to rage up to something new to try to match what you're seeing in me or thinking about me or anything. And so that's why this topic is so powerful, community. I hope that you're listening and taking notes, that at times all of us are going to find ourselves in a storm. And Tommie has said to us, a calm within the storm, finding balance, peace, and safety. Let's go to the next slide.
And so as we walk through the slides here, we always want to, one, have a conversation with you and I and the community, for crying out loud, right? The community, you all are experts, experienced, seasoned in your own right. And so this is not only a conversation with Eric and I, this is, as you know, it's a conversation with us. And so if there are any additional add-ons, feel free to share those in the chat or share those verbally. And so Eric has put this together. I thought this was phenomenal too, with regards to our topic, naming the storm. Now we do know from a weather perspective, there's some storms coming in from the eastern part of this country, southeastern part, some hurricanes, because we're in hurricane season. So that's coming through and kind of coming into Florida, Georgia, et cetera, et cetera. Personally, we have to name the storm. There are common storms. It reads, storms could be stress at work, family pressures, it can be health challenges. Sometimes those storms are dormant, silent, and weak, and then they start to build and rage. So we have to be very cognizant and aware of our body and our health, right? We have financial worries and social unrest. A gentle reminder here is that storms are a part of life. Just like our weather storms, Eric, they happen every season. They're not going to go away, just like the storms that we're talking about here. It's a part of life. But the storms, do not have to define us. And so as I was looking at the gentleman who was shooting the dagger eyes at me, my unapologetic empathy for him was as in respect. And what was that respect? Respect was, I had very briefly shared with the group that I too was personally working through something, right? And I'm trying to find my way, grab my compass and find my way. And so as I saw him through the lens of how I see myself. I need answers. I may be a little bitter, maybe a little frustrated, maybe a little mean and nasty, right? And so I unapologetically, empathetically was saying to him, it's okay. Whatever you're going through, if you would become a little bit more vulnerable, there might be answers sitting right in front of you that will simply share the mirror to you, that then you have the answer in yourself. Sometimes we have to bunker down in the storm. The vessel is strong, Eric.
Right.
The vessel is strong.
Right.
Yes.
What we're in,
God has built a phenomenal vessel.
Powerful,
that experience has built that vessel, not just of wood, but of steel, of concrete that can float.
Right.
And so when the major storm comes, we just hold on to the vessel, and trust in the vessel. And we're not looking out shooting cannons at the other vessels who are all on the same stormy waters. And so to name the storm is to be accountable to self. What part did we play in the storm? What part are we playing in fanning the winds of the storm? And to your point, Eric, you say, just had to ratchet down, and therefore you minimize the high winds. It's still a little breezy, still a little choppy waters,
but it won't end you.
Yeah, you don't know the way, but it won't end you, it won't sink you. And we're trying to share this morning, good people, that ask yourself, how are you? And know that there are people around you, close, near, and far, distant wise, who are here to help and support you, that don't end anything. Bunker down, lean in, and go with the storm. Don't fight against it. Because this too
shall pass. Let's bring that back up. And so the next point that we have for you about the storm is finding your balance. Balance isn't doing everything equally. It's choosing what matters most right now. And I know that that's what I'm looking at right now, Tommie, is the family storm that I'm going through that shakes your very foundation. And you have to hold on. And now all of the values around who you are, you've got to now lean in on those. And I think that when you're in the midst of a storm, finding the balance is the right thing, because crazy thoughts are going through your head. There are a lot of options about how you can go through a storm. And some of them will make this storm a rougher ride. And what I have found is that some of the storms that I'm in, some of them are in part of my own making. And I've got to be willing to accept that part of it. And my first thing is to almost try to protect myself. But I think that sometimes we protect ourselves the best by allowing ourselves to be more vulnerable. I've shed a lot of tears in the midst of a storm.
Yes, sir.
And I'm okay allowing, that's part of the balance. The way I grew up, Tommie, is you never really talked about storms. It was almost like they didn't exist. Everything was I can overcome. I'm already on the other side of this. I never really talked about a storm as though it was real. And I didn't talk about it as though it was painful, or I didn't talk about it as though it made me sad. But I'm grateful that God Almighty sort of took my family upbringing and took me to the next level.
Yes.
And I think he did that a lot through Judy. When Judy and I got married and she started telling me about things that she was sad about from her own family, I had never heard anybody do that, because we never said we were sad. We always said we were overcomers. I'm already there. Sad, nothing makes me sad. Sadness is weakness. I'm happy and strong all the time. And that's not true. Everyday examples of finding balance, juggling family and work, saying no to overload, carving out time to make sure that you have rest. Tommy, one of the things I've been doing lately now, we built our house almost 30 years ago, man, and we put a jacuzzi. Now, I didn't know, man, I would 30 years later be craving to get home and jump in that jacuzzi. It's almost like it rinses off of me, man, all the craziness that happened throughout the day, bro.
Yes, sir.
I just lean down in the water till it gets up to my neck, and I just sit there like, thank you, God, for this jacuzzi. I know it's the old model because it's been here for 30 years. But, man, I don't even need to turn on the jets. I'm just in here, Tommy, thanking God that he allows me to find balance.
Yes. Eric, we have to connect back to the earth, wind, water, and fire.
Right.
Right? We have to connect back with the elements. The elements of this earth were brought here well before us. This earth, as our producer shared with me, and I agree wholeheartedly, that the earth has energy, and the earth's energy is spiking in different ways, and we have energy. Sometimes we absorb unconsciously, unknowingly, Eric, the energy that's happening.
Right.
This is why, me speaking, I refuse to allow certain energy to get into my thoughts, my speech, and my mindset.
Right.
Even in the conversation I had personally in my own home, where there was a conflicting conversation, it knocked me off balance.
Right.
It was a surprise to me.
Right.
And so as I'm standing erect, stumbling.
Right.
I got to repeat that.
Right.
I was standing up erect.
Right.
Having a conversation that surprised me. I was stumbling. All in my mind, like, what?
Right.
What is happening? Where'd that come from? What? In the course of the conversation, I was told, I know you, by the other person.
Right.
I know you, as they pointed at me.
Oh, right.
And at that moment, in the storm, I said, no, you don't know me.
Right.
In my head. I didn't say it out loud, because in a flash, Eric, my life's storms went through my mind. My life's storms went through my mind. And I was like, a flash. And I'm standing, oh no, you don't know me. Right. You particularly have known me for a few years. There was a lot of storms before you came around in my life and this conversation. And then I got steady and got calm.
Watch out now.
And literally, Eric, in my steadiness and calmness, a smile landed on my face.
Not a smirk, but a genuine smile. Arresting.
I know who I am. Right.
Yeah, you don't get to define that.
I'm in balance. You don't get to define it.
Right.
And that nonverbal,
Right.
that smile created some energy on the other side, the storm.
Because it's not the reaction that I needed out of you.
And so when you think about that, as I am now, right now, the other vessel, Eric, had a hole in it that had been constantly putting in water and it's sinking slowly. And so it's very easy and it's easier to look out at the other vessels and say, you have a hole in your vessel, right? What are you doing to fix it? In fact, I see that you have a hole in the vessel.
Right.
And if you are in the vessel that's being charged with having a hole and you are working to plug it, right? Not in haste, not in earnest, right? But in calmness, I'm plugging. I'm doing the work to plug the hole in my vessel so I don't sink.
Right.
If you are doing that, if you are attentive to yourself, once you plug your hole, okay, I have some balance here.
Right.
And look over, it's not your charge to say, hey, you know you got a hole. but just simply look and see. Right?
Right. You like, I can help you with that
I can,
because I just plugged mine.
and it works.
Right.
I took a different road. And the road I took was, how's that work on your vessel going? Right? Because I've been working all of my life to get this balance because the storms never end.
Right.
How is that work on your vessel going? Have the storms ceased? If you name the storm,
Right.
the storm of inconsistency, the storm of not having, the storm of fighting against others, name the storm of the principality. And if you are still in the same storm, right, the vessel may be broken, right, or the work hasn't been done.
Now, let me add this in here, community. Many of you are freaking out about the storm we're in right now politically. What I said to Tommie earlier was that marginalized people have been in a pot of boiling water our entire lives, and for many of us, just centuries. So if you've really been in that pot of boiling water, after a while, you ought to be getting used to it a little bit. I mean, it's almost like we in there doing the backstroke because we've been in here forever, and now in our country, some people are getting thrown in the boiling pot of oil for the first time, and they're splashing around and they're throwing oil everywhere. And you say, hey, calm down. You might be here for a while. And so I would say that if you really look at our vessels, you will see that they've been hit.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of times. You see a lot of patches everywhere. But those patches that God enables us to put together ultimately help us to find balance. Name the storm, find the balance. Let's go back.
That's excellent. That's excellent.
So our third point, Lydia, if you'll flip to the next one. Tommie?
Cultivating peace. Part of this is, peace is not the absence of noise.
Right.
Noise is always happening.
Right.
It's always the winds.
Right.
It's always the storms. It's always
Right.
happening. But an inner steadiness.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I was speaking to toward that balance. So we're cultivating peace, Eric. We have to find ways to build peace.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it takes quiet time.
Right.
And to avoid either taking on external noise,
Right.
or running the same noisy rhetoric and narratives in our own mind. We have to remove ourselves. Now, again, the mind is a very complicated thing, Eric, because, and I'm going to speak for myself. Sometimes my mind really, it has its own algorithm. So it tracks itself to things that it thinks it needs. Until my mind is overwhelmed. And for example, for the news,
right,
I simply am not watching the news as much.
Right. Absolutely.
Period.
Right.
There are certain conversations and topics I don't bring up.
Right.
On this show, out in public, I just don't bring it up.
Right.
I can always tell what other people are thinking by the topics that they're bringing up.
Right.
Right.
You're cultivating peace.
Me and the wife went out to an event yesterday, kind of a gala, a dinner event. Met a couple of people that were new. The woman that we met, her husband was, I've golfed with him, et cetera. I knew him to a degree. And the wife asked, are you all married? Yes, we are. How long? I looked at Penny and Penny looked at me. My mind said,
really? We got to do this?
Does this matter?
Right.
I literally said, in my mind said, I don't know if this information is going to add value. How long? And so Penny answered it, which is typically a question that they try to test the man.
Yeah.
Right. Then the next question was, how did you meet? I had to cultivate some peace.
Right.
I responded with, we met through a number of different ways. We had known each other for some time before we end up, dating and getting married, all that good stuff. And we have a blended family. We're both remarried, all that good stuff. And how about you?
Right.
She didn't say anything. How about you? And so Lydia, we'll bring back up the slides here to say that the point.
So don't quiz you the whole way.
Just quiz me the whole way.
Right.
We have to create small moments of peace during their day,
right,
our day.
Right.
So even in the moment of my day, I had to create a small moment of peace. And that peace was, I have the power not to answer. I'm going to continue the conversation. I'm going to be cordial. I'm going to be nice.
Right.
But going back to bullet number 2, ways to build peace: quiet time, prayer, mindfulness, gratitude, and time outdoors. I was actually indoors, Eric, and I left the room.
Went fishing.
I went fishing.
Eric. Right.
I went out.
Out.
I went
right. Out of here. Yeah.
I didn't think about
this
that.
Is just
I went fishing.
Right. She look at you smiling with a glaze.
Don't bring that storm here.
Right.
Because little do you know, and she may have been God-given to us. Every situation, every relationship is not always the best. We go through our storms and our storms, and then our storms, right? And we have been in the storm. And so I didn't want to add anything to the storm by misspeaking. I had to be mindful. Right. By projecting something negative on the brand of the couple, all that good stuff. Man, as I'm wrapping up my thoughts here, and you'll take the second part here with creating safety. I literally thought about my emotional and psychological safety. Emotionally, I didn't want to break down. Psychologically, I want peace. I'm looking for peace. So this inquisition, right, lady, is disrupting the peace.
Right. And here's what Tommie is saying, community. Tommie's saying that the world is going to bring things to you, but only you are responsible for cultivating your own peace. Tommie said, I choose to not let you determine whether I'm going to be at peace or not.
Right.
I don't have to follow your path, your line of inquisition. I don't have to do none of that. I can mentally go fishing if I want to.
And I'm gone. But
I'm going to cultivate my own peace. As soon as I feel something sort of attacking my peace, what Tommie did is he protected his own peace. He cultivated his own peace without introducing incivility to the other person. That's powerful. In other words, that would only mess up my peace again. So I'm going to take care of my peace, and I'm not going to judge you for whatever you're bringing to me. And I think that goes back to that balance thing. Let's look at the next point that says that we've got to create safety. Safety means feeling secure enough to be yourself at home, with friends, in the community. That's what I start looking towards. When I'm in the midst of storms, I start looking at, Eric, who are we? Not what's happening. Who am I?
Great question.
And when I ask the question, who am I get quieter, because now I'm feeling God say, this is the moment where I need you to be most closely aligned with my principles, my word, and my value system, because this is a high stake engagement, and I need you to feel secure enough to be who I made you be.
I want to ask you this question, Eric, to unpack this, the third bullet here. And thank you, community, for following with us. We want to continue to unpack this. Ways to foster safety. through listening, being kind, respecting differences, showing up for each other. My question to you is mostly around being kind. When you are in your heart of hearts, your mind of minds, truly being kind, maybe even civil, respectful, and that kindness is not reciprocated, right? It's actually coming back as something diametrically different than kindness. How do you remain kind?
It's a good question.
Right?
Yeah, it's a good question. So for one, my kindness cannot be an act. It has to be a true feeling. So once I embrace the true feeling of kindness, I don't let you throw me off.
Oh my goodness.
I know that kindness may be disruptive. And I literally feel as though there's so much power in the kindness because it's linked to love that you can't win. Whatever thing you bring in, that can't win. That can't win.
Wow.
And I actually start looking further into, if it's not me that's got you angry, what is it? And I start sending out love and prayers towards whatever is making you uneasy. And I have found that that's who God built me on my good days, Tommie. If you catch me on a bad day and I am really ready, then I might react to whatever you come with. You come with crazy energy, I'm a ratchet to crazy energy.
Yep.
But on my better days, man, I'm getting more better days the older I get. And my peace doesn't allow you to shift it at all.
So, there's the adage of, kill them with kindness. And you just spoke about, you have to be authentically kind.
Saying stick, it's not that.
Right. It's not something you pull off the shelf or you double click.
Right.
And then, dish it out.
Ding, ding.
And that's it.
Right.
And that was powerful, Eric, because I think that the storm that we are experiencing in this country, particularly, and in this world generally, is the deterioration of true kindness.
Yes, it is, Tommie.
As a core value.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Right? It is a shtick.
That's right.
Right?
Right.
And someone
that's not sustainable.
Opens the show and then it closes.
Right.
And when the curtains close,
they turn back to somebody evil and nasty.
Evil, nasty, bullies, and tyrants. Right. It is when that curtain closes, it's dang it, that was not on cue. Your music was bad. And we go into finger point, et cetera, et cetera. And then the people who are receiving the barrage of insults and attacks, they become hardened and bitter, mean and nasty.
Yeah.
And so now we have this cycle of nastiness beyond just the word.
Woo!
I don't
y'all getting something today, community.
Yeah. Don't get caught up on just someone saying that was nasty. Right. Because nasty begets nasty. Right. Just like kindness begets kindness.
Right. And what I find, and I've never thought about this before. Every time he asks me questions and we go places that we didn't intend to go. But I'll tell you, Tom, I never thought about it. But what happens is actually I'm being rewarded right in the midst of what's happening. I am literally being rewarded by dopamine that says I'm going to a place that's uncommon. It's a place of kindness, true kindness. That means that everything that's coming out of me right now is love and kindness and sorrow for what's got you locked into where you are. And I'm not mad at you at all. I'm only loving you because God has shown me what's happening inside of you in a way that compassion comes over. And I start feeling blessed in the midst of a storm. That's that calm.
Yeah. That's that balance, that you find,
Yeah.
that's that
Yeah.
peace
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
ultimate safety.
Right.
I'm good.
Right. Because I know I'm human. I made some mistakes that have brought on some of this. So I'll own that part. The person is they're a little out of balance and all of that. I feel sad for them and I can empathize with them. And I try to go towards honesty. And the older I get, I don't go toward keeping score.
Right.
I don't go toward, no, but you. No,
No.
I go to none of those places. I go to a place of, there are some real things that have brought us to this moment. And what I want to contribute in my spirit is kindness.
Well said. We'll bring up our final takeaways for today.
Right.
This has been great. This
Right.
is great. So as we transition
Right.
from creating safety into our last slide, we talk about the last two, if you will, becoming the calm. And so that's a little bit about what you were just talking about.
Right.
So
Right.
the kindness is not just the action, it is you. You are kind. Anyone can be a calming presence for others.
Mm-hmm.
We really can. By listening, by being present, by actively hearing, not just listening, but hearing what the others are saying, right? Think of yourself as a lighthouse.
That's where we started, right?
That's where we started. We have the storm, we have the winds, we have some jagged edges, some
Right.
jagged rocks.
Right.
But if you are the lighthouse, you are steady, you're guiding folks to safety, their own safety, right? And as well, you're staying safe and you're dependable. You're a anchor of safety. There's some small habits here as well, Eric. We can focus on being steady. We have to practice being steady, being consistent, being regular. That's having some emotional intelligence.
Right.
That's going through some seasons of change,
Right.
right? To know that in the fall, things fall away, right?
Right.
The leaves fall away,
Right.
etc. But the trunk and the roots remain the same.
Right.
Right. So we can't just get blown over and topple over like a tree that's roots are weak.
Right.
We have to stay steady and strong, and we have to show patience with the high winds in the storm. It's the ebb and flow that's the patience.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
I like to look at it.
Don't fight against it.
Right.
Then it'll be resistance.
Yeah, and you just break.
You'll break.
Right.
Or you'll break or be broken, or
Right.
you'll break the other. We don't want to get into a culture of breaking
Right.
others, dismantling. So we're ebbing and flowing with the wind because we're showing patience that this season, this storm will pass. And then we have to take care of ourselves so you can show up for others.
So I know that it was Almighty God that planted this topic in Tommie's spirit. My prayer is that this episode right here, that it goes viral. Because I believe that this is what the whole country and the world needs. Lydia, bring up that slide one last time, and we're going to close out with these things. Storms will come, but calm, balance, peace, and safety are choices we can practice. And what Tommie and I are saying to you today, community, is that you are not just a weed that's tumbling in the midst of this political, social, and economic storms that are being hoisted upon you. You have choices about how you respond within the storm. We've said to you today to name the storm that you're facing. We've said to you today, try one daily practice for balance or peace, and do one small act to make someone else feel safe. I can tell you right now, I see calamity happening all around me. And I hate to minimize it in this way, but in some ways I'm almost entertained by it. I'm literally just throwing down popcorn because I don't believe that calamity and that the foolish acts of others has the final word. It doesn't. And so I know that there is current, short-term, and real pain. I understand that. Storms bring pain. They bring discomfort. But if you find calm within the storm, I think that you find that first and foremost in your faith in God. Secondly, in your relationships with people. And what I found, Tommie, is that my heart has so much love in it that even when I meet new people and new strangers, I went to this event in Erie, Pennsylvania. I was there to be the keynote speaker. I didn't expect the blessings that I received. I walked away from there encouraged about mankind and womankind by the people that were just weeping in a corporation because of the loss and the memory of someone different than them that they loved deeply and they missed. And so I'm saying to you that that's what I see, Tommie, is a bright future for us because of the work that we do, because of who we are, because of who you are. The fact that you tune in to Diversity Conversations every week says so much about who you are. Tommie Lewis and I are asking you now to help get this particular episode out there on social media, clips out there, because people in this country, they need to understand that the only choice and option that we have doesn't have to be nastiness to each other or hate begets hate, that you actually can give calm and love and compassion to someone who thinks that they want to be your enemy. You are not strong enough to outweigh and to overcome the love that's within Tommie Lewis and Eric Ellis that is at the core of what Diversity Conversations is all about.
Our time has come again. These rich conversations, share them, like them, promote them, as Eric said, but also revisit them. Revisit the conversations. So not to just hear our voices, but to hear the answers that are still in you. That's what we recommend.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, Eric, we can pontificate around all the steps to find balance and to find peace and to find safety. But ultimately, it's we as individuals. We have to know what that balance really is.
That's right.
And it may not be 50-50. Eric.
No, it's not going to be.
No.
I don't even look for it.
Nope. Balance
my job is to carry my part.
Carry your part.
And that's the love and that's the calm. I'll tell you what you're getting from Tommie Lewis and Eric Ellis is evolving.
Yes.
It's an evolution. It's things that are being birthed right out of our conversation and about our living insights and wisdom. We're not the same guys this week that we were last week. We are learning and growing. And so what we're trying to do is give you the highest road, the highest insights that God gives to us. That doesn't mean we always operate in these things. But what we've learned, when we learn something, then we try to pass that on to you because we believe that that delivers a better life, a better set of experiences for all of us.
And as always, we would like to thank each and every one of you for joining us every Saturday morning, for entertaining these conversations, these topics. We welcome you to share topics that you would like us, and all of us, to speak about. And so with that being said, we would like to say thank you again for joining us in another installment of
Diversity Conversations. Take care.